Welcome, this is Master Prophet Noel teaching you the Book of Secrets, Spirit Communications, Volume 1 and 2, CD set. In this course, you will learn the hidden secrets, the occult science, metaphysical methods that will begin to trigger your inner chakras that will cause spiritual enlightenment that will empower you to communicate with the spirit world. We will continue with the Book of Secrets, Spirit Communications, Volume 1 and 2, CD set. We'll be right back. Now, for many years, God, the universe, my angels and deities have compelled me to create a teaching that will awaken the masses that seek spiritual powers to the forbidden apple of occult science and metaphysical teachings that will empower them to operate in the spirit realm, to see magic and divination come alive in their life and the ability to communicate with spirits. Each person that truly desires to operate in prophecy and divination and spirit communication has the power of God within if they learn the secrets, if they learn the rituals that will permit them to lower their vibration and connect with the spirits all around them. Warning, this teaching is not for the religious, the lighthearted, or judgmental. This teaching is intended for serious seekers looking to prophesy and help bring direction and clarity to all seeking your guidance. This teaching is intended for the open-minded seeker looking to prophesy and develop the gift inside. Now, for centuries, the church and organized religion has demonized any personal group of people that desire to awaken the God within and develop spiritual powers and labeled them as a cult. Organized religion knew that if believers worldwide began to awaken to the prophetic evolution that has begun, believers would leave the church and organized religion's grip on society would cease to control and influence the masses. My intentions in creating the Book of Secrets, Spirit Communication, was to empower believers worldwide that desire to learn the secrets of prophecy and divination and spirit communication by giving them the tools, the methods, the rituals they must learn in the path of enlightenment. Also, my intention is to announce to millions of seekers worldwide that the beginning of a prophetic evolution has begun, where prophets and mediums and psychics and occult leaders will stand side by side to speak forth prophecies and communicate with spirits to bring forth accurate information that will amaze the world. Now listen to this testimony of one of my students who graduated from my course. Listen closely to this testimony.
Yes. Kept coming to me, and I kept smelling this cologne, and I kept asking Mama certain things. I would ask her about the child. When I would ask her about the child, everything I was asking was true, that she was verified.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah, it really did, because even though I had a brother died 13 years ago,
yes,
son was with him, and he had an open eye vision. He saw his father go. He would drown, and he saw his father like the sky open up and his light beam down in the water. He said he could see this figure going up, like his father with two angels going up to heaven.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, thank you, Lord, thank you.
Wow, now that's powerful. And you see that Mrs. Meeks, these experiences, you were even having these experiences.
That's true, that's true.
And you were having these experiences, Mrs. Meeks, but look at this. You couldn't verify it because the church would not verify these experiences.
That's true. That is so true. My brother died.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went home and I could smell his cigar that he would smoke.
Wow.
He literally got in the car. Everything he was saying, it was just so much verification, because, people tell you about the dead and you can't communicate with the dead. And
Yes.
I tell you, and I've had all these experiences.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, it's not true. Why am I having these experiences?
There you go. There you go. And you see, that's why, Mrs. Meeks, that God touched me to create a ministry that is not going to move like every other ministry. Because it's not about money. It's not about people. I got to do what God has put inside my heart. And if he wants me to teach on a subject, I don't care if all the church get mad at me and they blackball me. I'm going to teach on that subject. Because, Mrs. Meeks, you can't imagine the people that come into my life when I teach about this, when I give them prophecy, how much I impact their life in a positive way.
Yes, because you be thinking something wrong with you because people say it. Something wrong with you. In reality, there's nothing wrong with you. It's wrong with them because you can see things and feel things that they can't see and feel.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of the biggest things. And this is the reason why I told you that as you were doing the training, I told you keep open-minded, keep, because sometimes these methods that I bring in, people, these are all new to a lot of people. Some people, they've been experiencing them, but some people it's kind of new. So I always tell everybody to be patient, be open-minded so that you can grow as a person.
Yes, that's so true. Because I tell you, it has really helped me because I'm telling you, I had just experienced so many different things and I didn't understand why.
Beautiful.
They would teach different, but yet I knew what they were teaching wasn't right neither.
Yes.
I couldn't go wrong with what they were teaching. I never felt comfortable no matter where I was because they were teaching something totally different.
Yes. And that's what I've noticed also, Mrs. Meeks, that a lot of the people that are coming into my ministry have been burned because they've been in a lot of ministries that they've seen that this sow a seed don't work, and they see all these gimmicks that they're trying to come up with don't work. And one thing about my ministry, Mrs. Meeks, that I ask people that to bless and donate because you know why I have to? Because I don't ask people for tithes. I don't ask them for offerings. You understand? And I'm not bothering them for those things. So what I do is ask them for to pay for the course. But one thing, when they pay for the course, Mrs. Meek, they will walk away with something, because in the course, not only I'm going to give you all the CDs, something is going to happen that as you're going to start, and you're going to notice within the next 30 days, Mrs. Meeks, things are going to start to happen in your dreams. You're going to start to see changes in your dreams. You're going to start to see the prophetic awaken in your dreams, because what I'm teaching you is spiritual. And what manifests is it starts to manifest spiritual things in your life.
That's true.
You understand? It's not something that I read from a book. It's something that is manifested. And when you come and you be around on April, I'm going to go all the way around all the prophets, and I'm going to let you hear all the testimonies of things that I taught them and how many things started manifesting after they started learning this stuff, after they started embracing it, after they started accepting it. Then they started having things happen immediately, because something is released when you start to embrace the divine and the truth, and you start to walk away from falsehood.
That's true. That is so true.
As you begin to learn the secrets of spirit communication, you will change your life forever. The question that changed my life. Many years ago, I spent countless hours studying the Bible and other teachings in my quest to manifest supernatural powers, and a question began to flutter my mind that changed my life. Let me explain. I traveled in the depths of my mind and spent hours recalling the many pastors, the many bishops and churches I attended throughout my life, and the spiritual power they manifested. In the screen of my mind, I began to examine every situation I encountered and was amazed to discover that 90% of the pastors and bishops and churches I visited had no spiritual powers. I spent years visiting churches with big names and titles and always walked away troubled due to the fact of lower level spiritual powers I witnessed with my eyes. The prophet would speak forth a prophecy that was so general it had no spiritual powers. The bishops would have prayer lines for the sick, and as he laid hands on them, it would work for 1 out of 5 people. The pastors would preach a sermon that was so boring that I struggled with the thoughts, why am I wasting my time here in this church? As I examined in the screen of my mind the experiences I encountered throughout my life, a question began to